Last time we talked about single motherhood, and this time around, I thought it was wise to talk about the growing apathy towards marriage among women worldwide. Hello, and welcome again to another episode of the Other Side podcast. I am Annabelle Kemi, and it's good to be here with you again. Marriage was once considered a universal milestone in a woman's life. Sadly, it is increasingly being viewed with skepticism or indifference by women across the globe. In many cultures, marriage was traditionally seen as a rite of passage, essential for status, economic security, and family continuity. Interestingly, this story has changed drastically. Recently on TikTok, a TikToker posted that if you do not get married, what is your plan B? And a lot of women stitched this post and their responses had nothing to do with marriage. Most of them showed themselves having fun and just enjoying life as single women. And that tells a lot of deeper stories about the state of mind of quite a number of women these days and the general apathy towards the idea of marriage. The modern landscape has shifted, with a growing number of women opting to stay single. This trend raises significant questions about the factors driving this shift and its potential implications for society. Understanding these reasons and their broader impact is crucial in addressing the evolving attitudes towards marriage. Now, what are the causes of this seemingly general apathy against the idea of marriage? One of the first causes of apathy towards marriage is economic independence. One of the most significant factors contributing to the decline in marriage rates is women's increased economic independence. As more women attain higher education and enter the workforce, they are no longer financially dependent on a spouse. This shift has empowered women to make life choices that align with their personal desires rather than societal expectations. I've seen a lot of young women these days say they do not want to be shackled to any man because they feel like they have financial freedom. Anyways, with financial security, many women feel less pressure to marry for economic reasons, leading to a greater sense of autonomy and freedom. Also, changing social norms. The traditional notion of marriage as a necessity has been challenged by changing social norms. In many societies, the stigma attached to remaining single has diminished considerably, though I feel that in Nigeria, not necessarily considerably. Women are increasingly encouraged to pursue careers, personal growth, self-fulfillment outside the confines of marriage. This cultural shift has allowed women to redefine their roles in society, where marriage is no longer the only path to happiness or social acceptance. I would also say that focus on personal development has led women to neglect the idea of marriage. Modern women are placing a greater emphasis on personal development and self-actualization. The pursuit of education, career advancement, travel, personal interests often takes precedence over traditional milestones like marriage. Many women view marriage as a potential hindrance to their personal goals, leading them to delay or entirely forgo it. This focus on self-development is also reflected in the age at which women are choosing to marry, if ever they marry at all. I also believe that the fear of divorce and failed relationships plays a major role. The high rates of divorces and prevalence of failed relationships have instilled a sense of caution among women regarding marriage. Witnessing the emotional and financial toll that divorce can take on individuals has led many women to approach marriage with a lot of skepticism. The fear of entering a potentially unhappy or unstable marriage has made some women prefer to remain single rather than risk the consequences of a failed union. This is sad, but actually true. I equally believe that the desire for equality in relationships has led many women to make such drastic decisions against getting married. Many women today seek relationships based on equality and mutual respect. However, traditional marriage structures often reinforce gender roles that do not align with these values. The desire for equal partnership has led some women to question the institution of marriage itself, which they perceive as inherently unequal. As a result, some women choose to stay single rather than compromise their values and enter into a relationship where they feel like their autonomy might be compromised. And this is actually sad to see. I would also think that cultural and religious shifts have affected this mindset. In some regions, cultural and religious shifts have contributed to changing attitudes towards marriage. In societies where arranged marriages were once common, the younger generation is increasingly resisting such practices, seeking love and companionship on their own terms. Similarly, in secular societies, the influence of religious doctrines that often mandate marriage as a moral obligation has waned drastically. This has given women more freedom to choose their paths. Now, what are the effects of this mindset on society? The first effect would be the demographic changes. Declining marriage rates contributes to lower birth rates, leading to aging populations in many countries. These demographic shifts can strain social welfare systems as fewer working age individuals are available to support an increasing number of elderly people. Countries like Japan and several other European countries are already grappling with the economic consequences of declining birth rates and shrinking populations. Also, I believe that it redefines family structures. The traditional nuclear family structure is now evolving as more women are choosing to remain single. This redefinition of family units can have both positive and negative effects. On the one hand, it challenges outdated gender roles and promotes more diverse and inclusive definition of family. But on the other hand, it can lead to societal adjustments in areas such as child rearing, housing, and social services. This is one of the reasons why we see a lot or an increasing rate of single mothers in our societies. Also, there is the economic implication. The decision to remain single can have economic ramifications, far reaching economic ramifications on women. Single women may prioritize different spending habits compared to married couples, influencing consumer behavior and economic trends. Right now, you see a lot of an increased crave for body enhancements in Nigeria, a lot of BBLs. If you live on the island in Lagos, you know what I'm talking about. So you see, women's choices and the way they spend their money, the things they spend their money on, are beginning to shift. And this is rather sad. I believe that it affects the general populace extensively. Money that could be put into more valuable ventures have now been thrown into self-aggrandizement, so to say. Don't judge me. I am not saying those body enhancement decisions are bad. Do whatever you feel like doing. I just feel that if we had a society where women were more open to marriage rather than being single and having fun, maybe where they threw their money would matter and will be more proper, so to say. Also, I believe that while women thrive in their independence, others may experience social isolation or loneliness, particularly as they age. The absence of a traditional support system, often provided by a spouse or children, can lead to increased mental health challenges. Society may need to develop new forms of social support to ensure that single individuals, particularly older women, do not face social exclusion. Now, what are the possible ways to stem this tide? Addressing the growing apathy towards marriage requires a nuanced approach that respects individual autonomy while addressing the broader societal implications. One of the ways this could be done is through promotion of equal partnership. Encouraging relationships based on equity and mutual respect can make marriage more appealing to women who value these principles. Educational programs that promote healthy relationship dynamics and challenge traditional gender roles can help create partnerships that align with modern values. This approach can help women feel more confident in entering into marriages where their autonomy and equality are respected. Also, I'll suggest supporting work-life balance. Policies that support work-life balance, such as flexible working hours and affordable childcare, can make it easier for women to pursue career and family goals. I know that in some organizations, they don't even consider having daycare for women who have babies or toddlers. And this could be quite disheartening. In all my years in the military, I only saw one institution that had a daycare for mothers. And that tells you a lot. as a society, we should start imbibing this. By reducing the perceived conflicts between personal development and marriage, these policies can make marriage more valuable for women who want to achieve both. Addressing the fear of divorce is one crucial thing we should consider. Legal reforms and support systems that make divorce less financially and emotionally devastating for women can reduce the fear of entering a marriage. If you're scared that if I get married and something happens and we have to go our separate ways, I will be the one to suffer. You will not even want to get married in the first place. So counseling services, premarital education, and accessible legal advice can help couples build stronger, more resilient marriages. Additionally, creating fairer divorce settlements and providing support for individuals post-divorce can alleviate some of the anxieties associated with marriage. Nobody wants to get divorced after marriage, but things happen. You can't tell. Cultural re-education is also a good strategy. Societal attitudes towards marriage should be re-examined and updated to reflect modern realities. Public campaigns and educational initiatives that promote the benefits of marriage without resorting to outdated stereotypes can help shift perceptions. Highlighting examples of successful, happy marriages that defy traditional norms can also serve as inspiration for those who are skeptical about marriage. The last strategy would be to build social support networks. For those who choose to remain single, we can't judge them. Society should focus on building robust social support networks that prevent isolation and loneliness. Community programs, social clubs, and online platforms can provide avenues for social connection and support. This ensures that single women have access to meaningful relationships and community involvement. Who knows? This might help them change their mind about marriage and decide to do it anyway. So, in conclusion, the growing apathy towards marriage among women reflects a broader societal change that prioritizes individual autonomy, economic independence, and personal fulfillment. While this shift presents challenges, it also offers opportunities to redefine relationships and family structures in ways that promote equality and happiness. By addressing the underlying concerns that lead women to avoid marriage, society can create an environment where marriage is seen as a fulfilling and desirable choice rather than an obligation. Through promoting equal partnership, supporting work-life balance, and providing social support, we can ensure that both married and single women thrive in the modern world. I would, however, suggest that you stay married if you're married already and consider marriage if you're still thinking about it. Marriage is a beautiful thing. On that note, I'd like to say thank you for sticking with me on today's episode of The Other Side Podcasts. I'll see you again soon. In the meantime, stay winning and keep learning. I am Annabelle Kemi. Good night and have a great week ahead.